Hello students, a heartiest welcome to you. I am Mrs. Snehal Mori and today we are going to learn chapter 2nd of standard 6th history and lessons name from hunting gathering to growing food. Part 2nd. Part 1st we have already learned in the last session. Let us quickly revise what all points we studied in the last session. First point, the earliest people, why were they on the move? Why were the people in the earliest time on the move? Maybe for hunting, maybe for in the search of shelter, food, water. Why they moved we have studied in the last session. Next point, how do you know about the lives of the hunters and the gatherers? Here, archaeologists play a very important role from their excavation, from their sources of history, from the study of the archaeologist, we can know the lives of the hunters and the gatherers. And the last point, choosing a place to live in. Which place did the earliest man chose to live in? Okay, these all points we have studied in our last session, that is in the part first video. Now today let's proceed further with the other points. So to begin with, we are starting with finding out about the fire. This point is there in your textbook also. Finding out about the fire. Here, observe the given map here. Here, you can find the Kernol Caves. The Kernol Caves, traces of ash have been found here. This suggests that people were familiar with the use of fire. Fire could have been used for many things, such as for the source of light, to roast meat, and to scare away animals. Now, how do we know that the fire existed in the Stone Age period? Because, see, here is a site known as Kernal Caves. Okay, the Kernal Caves, in these caves, we have found the traces of ash. The traces of ash have been found here. So, from this, we can identify or we can guess that the use of fire was occurred in the Stone Age period. And why would have the Stone Age people would have used the fire? For example, they would have used for as a source of light, to roast meat, or to scare away animals. Okay, next. Names and dates. Now, how to identify the ages, different ages. First age, that is Paleolithic Age, which is also known as Old Stone Age. You can observe the picture given here. This is what a Paleolithic Age. Now, let's learn about it. The earliest period is called as the Paleolithic period. This comes from two Greek words, paleo meaning old and with lithos meaning stone. The Paleolithic period extends from 2 million years ago to about 12,000 years ago. This long stretch of time is divided into the lower, middle, and the upper Paleolithic age. This span of time covers 99% of human history. This is very important, dear children. Now, which age is known as the Paleolithic age? The age from 2 million years ago, that means around 20 lakh years ago, to 12,000 years ago. Now, where did the word Paleolithic emerge? Paleo, it's a Greek word. Paleo meaning old and lithos meaning stone. And also the Paleolithic age is known as the Old Stone Age, and it was the earliest period. Okay, and very important, this span of time covers 99% of the human history. Now, after Paleolithic Age, which age comes? See, it is a Mesolithic Age. It's an Mesolithic Age. It's also known as Middle Stone Age. Now, here the picture is given. You can observe this picture. In this picture, you can find the people making wooden bows, arrows for hunting, and also for boats for shipping. That means the Paleolithic age, people were not too advanced, but in Mesolithic age, slowly they started advancing themselves, right? The period when we find the period when we find environment changes beginning about 12,000 years ago till about 10,000 years ago is called Mesolithic, that means Middle Stone Age. See, very important, from 2 million years ago to 12,000 years ago, it's called a Paleolithic Age, and from 12,000 years ago till about 10,000 years ago, it's called Mesolithic Age. Okay, stone tools found during these periods are generally tiny and are called microliths. The stone tools which are found during the excavation are generally tiny, means they are small, and they are called microliths. Microliths were probably stuck on the handles of bones or wood to make tools such as saws and sickles. Okay, now after Mesolithic age, which age came? Let's learn. See, Neolithic age. Neolithic age, which is also known as New Stone Age. Okay, now in this period, the human being has been advanced. Can you see here in this picture, dear children? They have their houses. Okay, they you can see the use of fire also, right? They are doing some melting some metals over here. Can you see here? Okay, so it was an advanced age. The next age from 1,000 years is known as the Neolithic Age. The agriculture first began in this Neolithic Age. Okay, now next, the changing environment. How the changes occurred in the environment. Around 12,000 years ago, changes in climate of the world occurred. Climatic conditions shifted to relatively warm conditions, and the impact was many new grasslands developed. What happened? Before 12,000 years ago, the climatic condition of the earth was very cold. After 12,000 years ago, the climatic conditions shifted to cold to warm, and the impact due to the sun rays, what happened, the impact was such that the grasslands developed, the snow on the earth melted, and the earth got the exposure, the land got the exposure of the sunlight, due to which many new grasslands were developed. Can you see the images of grasslands over here? This type of grasslands developed all over the earth. Then what happened? Due to the development of grassland, there was increasing number of herbivorous animals such as deers, antelopes, goats, sheep, cattle, etc. Due to this, what happened? The herbivorous animals got lot of food to eat, so their number was also increased, and so hunters gatherers started learning about these animals, and why they learned about these animals and how, let's see. Okay, those who hunted these herbivorous animals now started following them. By following them, they started to learn about their food habits and their breeding season. They started thinking about herding and sharing these animals. Fishing also became very important. Okay, now the earliest men started following the animals, and they started learning about their food habits, the breeding season, and they started thinking about herding and sharing these animals. And at that time, fishing also became very important. Okay, now next point. Again, the beginning of farming and herding. Around the same time, that is 10,000 BC, several grain bearing grasses grew naturally in different parts of the subcontinent. Now, as we knew that the grasslands started growing all over the earth. After some time, that is around 10,000 BC, the grain bearing grasses such as wheat, can you see wheat, barley, then rice, these kind of crops started growing on the earth. Okay, next, Men and women collected those grains. What happened? Men and women and children collected those grains as food, and they learn where they grow and when they ripened. Men, see, that means the agriculture started developing because now they had the grains with them. So with that grain they learned that it is a food, and they also started to learn how we can grow them and when they are ripened. Okay, next, domestication of animals. Now we learned that the earliest men started doing the agriculture. Now they also started domesticating the animals. Let's see them. Okay, people slowly started attracting and taming animals. The first animal to be tamed was a wild ancestor of the dog. These animals, such as sheep, goat, cattle, and also a pig, live in herds, and most of them eat grass. The early man discovered that these herbivorous animals were gentle in nature, and it was easy for them to domesticate them. So, very important point. First animal that the earliest man domesticated was the dog. Always keep in mind, the first animal which was domesticated by the Stone Age man was the dog. Why they domesticated that animal? Because they found they are very gentle in nature, and not this is first type. The dogs were too big. These are wild dogs. Slowly the evolution of dogs. Now the dogs man's size has increased and the dog size has decreased. Okay, so the early man discovered that these herbivorous animals are very gentle. That means sheep, goat, cattle, pig, they are very gentle in nature and they can easily domesticate them. Okay, next, domestication is the name given to the process in which people grow plants and look after animals. Very often, plants and animals that are attended by people become different from wild plants and animals. This is because people select plants and animals for domestication. For example, this select those plants and animals that are not prone to diseases. They also select plants that yield large size, green, and have strong stalks. Okay, now people, the earliest people, what they did, they started domesticating animal. They selected those particular plants and animals, the animals which are not prone to, means they will not catch diseases easily, okay, which are not prone to the diseases, and also the plants which are strong, which are having strong stalks and the grains as well. Okay, next, what happened? Amongst animals, those are relatively gentle and are selected for breeding. The animals, those who were gentle, that means those were not aggressive and mostly herbivorous, they were selected for breeding. As a result, gradually domesticated animals and plants became different from wild animals and plants. So, after the time passed, the domesticated animals became different from those of the animals, wild animals and plants. For example, the teeth and the horns of wild animals are usually much larger than those of the domesticated animals. Now, here observe the picture. Here, these are the teeth of the pig. Now, which teeth can be of a domesticated pig and which can be of a wild pig? Yes, you guessed it right. This one, the smaller one, is of a domesticated pig, and the larger one is of the wild pig. How you can observe? Because those domesticated pigs, they were not having so huge size. They were smaller as compared to the wild animals because they adapted to the situation, they adapted to the environment. As they were domesticated, they never needed to hunt, they never needed to protect themselves, they were already protected by the humans. So what happened? They adapted the surrounding, and due to this, their teeth you can find here smaller in size. The domesticated pigs' teeth are smaller, whereas wild pigs are bigger. Okay. Now next. Now today's homework. Differentiate between Paleolithic, Mesolithic and Neolithic age. And the next point, explain the term a changing environment in your own words. So these 2 points we have studied in detail, we have discussed in detail. So I hope you will not find any difficulty in writing the answer to it. So I really hope that you have loved watching this video, and thank you very much children for hearing me patiently. Thank you and have a nice day. Thank you very much.